Hello students, hope you are doing good. So in this lecture we will be discussing event handling in AWT. So I will just create a basic program and show you that how events are handled in AWT. Event is a process, okay, in which for example you just click a button, so a button event is generated. So as we have seen in our previous programs, we have created a frame, and when we try to close that particular frame, nothing is happening. So now we'll just create a program, okay, so that the event can be generated on that particular close button, and when we click on that particular close button, so the frame must be closed. So in order to, okay, continue that program, we just extend class, that is frame class, and before this we have to import certain packages, that is import java.awt.star, and for event we have to import java.awt.event. Okay, so this we have to, these two things we have to must include in our program before we just start. So now just, so if we are working on the window event, because we are focusing on that particular window, okay, we are closing the window, so we have to implement, we have to include in our program some listeners, okay, so that they can listen to the event that has been generated. So there is a listener that is known as window listener. So we'll just implement this interface, okay, extends frame implements window listener. So this window listener, okay, it is an interface that contains some abstract methods, okay, so we have to override these methods. So here you can see when I have just typed window listener, because we have to invoke the listener in our program. Here you can see a cross button is there, okay, so it's saying multiple markers in this line. So what is this? There are different abstract methods in this interface, and these methods, okay, have to be implemented in our program. Okay, it is the responsibility of the programmer to implement the abstract methods. So what we'll do, okay, as we don't know what are the methods, okay, there is no need to mug up the methods to, okay, so what we'll do, we'll just right click, okay, on our just program, and here you can see this is a source, okay, so we just go to source and we just go to override implement methods. Just click on this override implement methods, and here you can see there are 7 methods, okay, in this particular window listener interface that generates a window event. Okay, so a window event will be generated on these particular listeners, okay, on this particular abstract method that are in this window listener interface. So what we have to do, we have to just click ok, and all these will be, okay, provided, will be available in your program. There is no need, okay, to just mug up these particular methods, okay, because it will just take time. You can also, okay, just write these methods on your own if you don't want to implement, okay, with this type of approach. So there is no problem. So now what we have to do, we will just work on this in some little time. First we have to create a frame. So what we will do, we will just write, okay, button b is equal to new button, okay, new button, and inside this we just write click me. So this is the basic thing that we are doing. Now again we just create a text field tf is equal to new, okay, new text field, okay, inside this we'll just pass the value, okay, that is the length of this text that is being provided. So now what we have to do, we have to add this button and this text field. So what we'll do, we'll just add this component button, and we'll just add this text field tf, okay, so it has been done. Now what we have to do, we have to set the size of this particular frame. So set size, and we'll just pass the size, that is the width and the height of the frame, okay. Again what we have to do, we have to set the visible, okay, we have to set the visibility as true. So set visible method that contains true, and of course we have to set the layout also. So set, okay, layout, and inside this we have to pass new flow layout. Okay, so this flow layout we are just passing. So when you just click control space, okay, it will give all these methods, okay, that contains in this particular method. So now we just, now this window listener, okay, so this window listener must listen the event. So we have to first register this event on this particular frame. So how we will just register this component? We have to write add window listener, okay, and inside this we will just pass the reference of the current object, that is this, because it is generated on our, the object that has been created by our program. Okay, so we will just pass the reference of the current object of our program so that it could successfully register with this, and a callback function. Okay, so these all are the callback functions once the successful registration. This is the registration of the listener. So this is, you can say, this is registration. Okay, registration has been done, and once the registration has been done with the particular frame, okay, so this add window listener will now, okay, call this callback function. So these all are the callback functions. Okay, so inside this callback function this particular event object will be passed, and as a result of which the information that we will write in this particular callback function will be automatically invoked. Okay, so these are the methods that we have to override. So we can just override the method that is of our use, and rest we can leave as it is. So what we will do, we will just complete this. Okay, so this is now completed, and before this what we have to do, we have to create a constructor, because we want that all these things must be inside a constructor. So we'll just create a constructor of type win event. Okay, so as the object of this constructor will be created, so these all the particular, okay, components, okay, will be set with the help of this invoking of the constructor. So this is now complete. Now what we will do, we'll just write, okay, we'll just write main first. So what is inside main? So main says main, and we'll just click it, and we'll just create an object of win event. Okay, so win event we is equal to new win event. Okay, so a constructor we have just created, an object will be, okay, created, and it will be, the constructor will be invoked, that is responsible for invoking all these all these components that are declared, okay, inside this constructor win event. So now we have to override the method. So which method we have to override? We have to override this window closing event. So if you want to close this window, something must be there. So what we will do, we will just write, okay, a method that is dispose. So this dispose method will be responsible, okay, in just closing this particular window. So a window event will just be generated, and the screen, the window will be closed. So inside this we can also write, if you want to see, okay, we can also write window is closed. Okay, so that we can see it on the screen. So just we'll just compile it, and we rest of these methods you can override, you can write something, or you can leave it as blank. Okay, there is no need to override it. It all depends upon the usability of the programmer. So let's try to run this and see what happens. So a frame has been generated, as you can see, that contains the image. Okay, this is the title bar, these three buttons. Okay, these are the default buttons, okay, that comes inside this frame. this is the minimize, maximize and cross button. Okay, so when I click this click me, nothing is happening because I haven't created an event for this click me. So in the subsequent lectures we will just see that if we create a button event for this particular click me, then some text will be generated. So we have created an event for this close button. So now we'll just click on this close button and see what happens. So as soon as I just click the close button, it is closed, and whatever I have written, it has been now displayed on the screen that Windows is closed. It means a window event has been successfully generated by this window listener, and this window listener, we have just registered this particular listener to this particular frame, and a callback function, that is the window event. This is basically a callback function. Okay, so a callback function, these are the callback functions. So these are callback functions, okay, that will be invoked by the that will be invoked by these add window listener function. It will be invoked by this when we'll just successfully register the current object in it. So I hope the concepts are clear. So in the next subsequent lectures we'll just see some other components and some other listeners. Thanks.